Hello, good morning, welcome. My name is Lisa Moehrke. I am your 2020 Wyoming Realtors President.
And I am Max Minnick. I am your 2021 Wyoming Realtors President.
We'd like to welcome you to our general session today for the Wyoming Realtors, coming to you live from Casper, Wyoming.
We would also like to thank Realtor.com at this time. They're a sponsor of our general membership meeting this morning.
Awesome. So at this time, for those of you that have joined us today, if you'll stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'll remain standing for the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you. Well, I'm really excited. We've had just such a wonderful year as the Wyoming Realtor Association and our board of directors, our staff, and everyone that's just helped us along the way this year. We want to thank all of your efforts. It's been a really just accomplished year in face of all the challenges that we had to go through and work and navigate around. So we're just going to go ahead and do some recapping, some updating, and we have a really great slate of people here to introduce today to you, and we're excited to hear them speak. So we'd like to go ahead and kick it off, and we're going to go ahead and start off with our Government Affairs Director, Miss Laurie Urbigkit. Laurie's been our Government Affairs Director for over 20 years, and she's one of a kind in that she's a Realtor and a Government Affairs Director. We also want to introduce Dave Coleman, who's our Political Advocacy Chair. He's also been the past president of the Cheyenne Board of Realtors. So we'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you, I asked Kylie if she could share my report on the screen, and I guess I could try, I think I can share it from here. Let me try. Yes, look at there. Okay. Now can you see my screen with the report? Someone nod. Thanks, Scott. Okay, so this is kind of a recap of what your lobbying efforts have been since the legislative session ended in March. Obviously, COVID changed everything. It certainly made the legislative process ramp up really fast. As you can see, the Management Council did their usual April meeting where they approved the interim topics, and there were several of those that we had concerns about. But I mean, at that juncture, we were still thinking life was going to go on as normal sooner or later, and we thought it would be sooner than later. Then we went, it became obvious when the federal government announced the COVID funds, that there would have to be a special session because the governor did not have I guess there was a question whether the governor had the authority to spend that money without legislative direction. And the legislators certainly, they are the ones that appropriate the money for the state. And so they needed to be part of that process. So that was ramping up to that special session in the middle of May was a very hectic couple weeks for us. We participated in Management Council committee meetings. We participated in the Minerals Committee. The Minerals Committee, and we were very fortunate to have our own Representative Shelley Duncan on that committee. They really took the lead on the business side of those funds. And so it was really important that we had Shelley there that could help them understand what private businesses were going through and what this shutdown was meaning to them. So we did a lot of work with the Minerals Committee on that. They also included rent subsidies for landlords. And again, Shelley was instrumental in helping them understand how that worked and how it needed to happen. So and then of course we had the 2 full days of special session, the 15th and 16th. And I must say, I was really proud of our Wyoming legislators. Some of them have never been on a Zoom meeting ever in their life. And they had like a little precursor course the day before and kind of learned how to unmute and mute themselves. And so I was really proud of them that they were able to really step up and figure that out. Every single one of them showed up on camera. And for the most part, did a pretty good job. Some of them, you could only see the top of their bald head, but that's okay. They were there and they were participating. So we made it through special session. And then, of course, the actual interim committee work kicked off in full force. The first one is always the Revenue Committee. And of course, they discussed all things taxes. For those of you who have been hiding in a cave somewhere, you may not realize, but our Wyoming budget, the Wyoming state budget, and every municipality and every county is in serious trouble thanks to COVID. And just because we're special in Wyoming, with the decline in the mineral oil and gas prices and the decimation of the coal industry, quite frankly, we are $1.5 billion in the hole if we don't do something and something soon. So needless to say, the Revenue Committee, that is the name of them, it is their job to find the revenue. So we talked about sales tax on services, we talked about property tax increases, real property transfer tax, and sales tax increases themselves. There was discussion about removing the exemption on sales tax on food, increased wind tax, you name it, they talked about it. The only bill that moved forward from that original list, well, the first list, they moved kind of everything forward, even though the committee kind of said, no, wait, we don't want to do this. They moved them all forward, and you'll see down further in August, we had these discussions again. So then the Mineral Committee, they also met the 1st of June, and we discussed ad valorem taxation, and they also went through a lot of the implementation of the COVID funds. It was really important to the state legislature and to the governor that those funds get to the businesses in Wyoming, to the people that needed them as quickly as possible. And I think the Wyoming Business Council did an outstanding job getting that done. So then in June, we went on to the Corporations Committee. And Nicole Novotny-Smith is on, so I'll let her talk about part of that. But there was a discussion of consolidating the licensing boards. And there was also discussion about the efficiencies that could be had from that consolidation. They also discussed remote notaries, and I want to shout out to the Wyoming Secretary of State's office. As soon as this COVID thing hit, they realized that remote notary was going to be very important, and they acted immediately. They implemented emergency rules to allow that. I don't know how how often or how much it has been utilized, but the Wyoming Secretary of State's office jumped on immediately and took care of that. So in the Corporations Committee, there was discussion as to whether or not that should be made permanent via statute instead of by special rule. So as you'll see, as we go further down the list, we are working on that legislation as well. And then in August, there was a surprise, the Select Water Committee, and I very rarely check in on the Select Water Committee because I didn't realize I cared so much about them. But it turns out we do care about them. They were having a discussion on how water rights that were being abandoned for rural subdivisions, how those are how the paperwork flows and how that all happens. And it was someone's idea at the state level that subdivision should not be approved. I mean, literally held up, not approved until the State Water Division approves the plan. You have to currently, if you're doing a rural subdivision, submit a plan to the State Water Division, but you don't have to wait for approval. Approval can take up to 1.5 years. They thought that maybe they could do an emergency approvals and maybe they could get it done in 6 months or so. Obviously, that is not acceptable to us. If somebody wants to subdivide their property, it's probably because there is a market for it currently. And waiting 1 year, adding 1 year to the process was just simply unacceptable. So that legislation went nowhere. And what is supposed to happen is we are supposed to be having an ad hoc group that I have been invited to participate with to see if we can come up with a better solution than delaying subdivisions by over 1 year. So then back to the Revenue Committee, we had to discuss all those bills that sort of were killed at the last one, but I've decided that Revenue Committee bills never really die. They always just come back somehow, somewhere. And so again, sales tax on services was discussed, increase on property taxes, the repeal of the exemption of sales tax on food, and the real estate transfer tax. The only bill that survived that entire episode was the real estate transfer tax, and it was not passed, it was not voted on. And it is going to come back in a new, different version. It won't be new because I think we've seen about every version of a real estate transfer tax that's possible. But it will be back, and I believe it will be a local option tax as has been presented the last number of years. And again, we will continue to strongly oppose a real estate transfer tax. Then in September, we also met with Corporations Committee. And again, shout out to Representative Shelley Duncan. She serves on the Corporations Committee, which is incredibly important. They had a bill in front of them for universal licensing. That bill would have mandated that if you have a real estate license in some other state, Wyoming will allow you to have one in Wyoming. And it didn't allow for any Wyoming testing about Wyoming state statutes or our agency laws or our disclosure laws. It was just flat out, you will give them a license. So Representative Duncan expressed her concern about that issue and did a good job, I thought, explaining to the committee that we have specific laws in Wyoming that are not the same as laws in other states. And, you know, for instance, our agency law is not the same as it is in Colorado. We have different regulations and different laws, and our requirements are different. And so it seemed reasonable to expect that someone would need to know those things rather than just come in and start practicing selling property in Wyoming without a license, without that knowledge. So Senator Charles Scott from Natrona County, another one of our realtor heroes, introduced an amendment, and it was a 4-part amendment. And the 4th part, item number D, required them to take a Wyoming portion of the Wyoming test. So that, the universal part, okay, we get that. you understand, you're practicing in another state, you probably have that down. But as far as our Wyoming statutes, our specific Wyoming statutes, that would be included. There was a little pushback from him, and Senator Scott was quite eloquent in his explanation that he didn't think this bill stood a prayer of passing if we didn't do something along those lines. So we appreciated his support on that. And then we did go through the remote notarization legislation that the Secretary of State's office brought forward. And again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate working with them. They reached out to us ahead of time, to the executive committee and myself, and many other stakeholders, and went through their thought process and through the legislation with us. And so we didn't walk into that committee with blindsided by any means. We were up, everybody was on the same page, and we really appreciated the Secretary of State's office in that regard. Then just this last week, here was a surprise one, road usage charge legislation out of the Transportation Committee. And I just happened to be clicking by and landed on their committee hearing. So this has been a test pilot in many other states. It started on the West Coast, Oregon, I think. I believe it was Oregon, might have been Washington, but one of those two over there. And basically what they would do is, in addition to your fuel tax, there would also be a road usage charge. I put on a lot of miles this summer, and I just would hate to see what my bill would be. And I think it would, I mean, when you consider what realtors do, we drive around our very big counties in Wyoming, and we look at a lot of property and we put a lot of miles on our vehicles. So we will be watching that one very closely. I believe, I mean, it's moving forward, but I think it's going to wind up being a pilot program where they're just going to ask for volunteers and see how it actually would work and see what kind of revenue it may or may not provide. So we will watch that one very closely. Other potential legislation that we're looking at, we probably are going to have a discussion about exactions again. I do know there is a bill being drafted that's an exemption from the family split rules on subdivisions, and basically it's a grandfathering because there are some people that got caught in the middle of that whole thing, and so that it's not going to affect a lot of people, but it's important to some of them that got caught in the middle of when we changed from 2 years to 5 years or whatever it was we changed to. For those of you who live in Natrona County, and it's my understanding it may be happening in other counties as well, your property taxes, especially on vacant land, have gone through the roof. Mine personally went up 500% on one parcel and 350% on several other parcels. So we are in discussion with legislators regarding a real property tax valuation cap, similar to what a lot of other states have done. There is a question whether or not that is constitutional, and so it may turn out to have to be a constitutional amendment, but I do want you to know that we are indeed engaged in that issue and having conversations, trying to come up with some solutions. If anybody else has brilliant ideas, don't hesitate to let me know. And so tied with that, once again, one of my favorite discussions is the sale price disclosure. As you all know, we are a non-disclosure state in Wyoming. And what is happening is it truly is making protesting your property taxes pretty difficult if you don't have a real estate broker in the family that has access to the MLS. So that discussion is coming forward. For those of you who are new to our happy group, over the past many years, that discussion has come forward. We have polled our membership, and it normally comes out about 50-50. So we try to just stay out of the fray. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think we're going to get dragged into the fray whether we want to or not. So that's kind of an update on where we are with legislation. Heaven knows that there will be probably lots more coming forward. They normally start pulling bills out of LSO around the first part of December. So hold on to your hat. Things could get pretty exciting around that time. The other activities that we've been engaged in, of course, is this election year, in case anybody missed that. We did 21 independent expenditure campaigns during the primary election, plus our regular RPAC funding. And we did that through the NAR Realtor Party. We won 16 of those 21. Of course, they thought that was great. They thought 16 out of 21 was a pretty good average. I, of course, won at 100% and was pretty despondent for a day or two after that, but not to worry. I'm okay now, and I'm back at it. We're going to do 12 independent expenditure campaigns during this general election, and we are doing those in-house. The board of directors approved the purchase/lease, however you define it, of a new Realtor Party Plus platform that will allow us to really look at the demographics of these different districts and do a lot of that messaging in-house. And so yes, it's going to take a little bit more work for us personally. I think it's going to be well worth it, and we're pretty excited about getting going on that. So there will be 12 independent expenditure campaigns coming forward within, and I believe we are scheduled to try and get those launched within the next week. So don't forget to vote often, vote early. That is my report, Madam President, and I will turn my screen back off. And happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Laurie. Next up on our agenda is Mr. Dave Coleman. Do we have Dave on here?
I'm asking him to unmute.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right, fantastic. Dave, you are live. Go for it.
Oh, what happened to the screen here? Good morning, Wyoming Realtors. Thank you, Laurie. That was an awesome presentation. I do appreciate everything that you do, that you've done for us, and what you continue to do. It is no small task, and we have the best GAD in the entire country. Thank you so much, and Ms. Sherilyn. I know you guys have been hitting the pavement hard, and I'm sure you're tired of the word Zoom. So on my report, I just wanted to talk. We've been busy, sort of, on Zoom, and just trying to support anything that Laurie and the board has. Our three biggest thing is vote, act, invest. You know, the vote piece is nothing more than we have to encourage and get the information to our boards and to our members so they know who to vote for. You know, the state asked for some help and some endorsements, and we've done that, and we're going to continue to do that. So October is our big month, you know, in the Cheyenne board, and we're going to try to get the questions out to the membership on all the wards and city council, but we are going to do active interviews and candidate interviews on all of our city council, county commissioners, and that will all take place in October. And we'll make sure that all of the information is very transparent in the questions. Thank you, Laurie, again. We may lean on you for some more direct questions. The local stuff, there's so many, there's 4 per ward, so there's 16 candidates. So what we're going to end up doing is getting that information to the membership so you know who they are, why they're running, and who you're voting for. So, you know, we didn't have a very good turnout in the primaries here locally, but as far as we're hoping for better results. We're on the 40-day countdown. It's technically 40 days from when it's time. So we're going to be pushing as hard as we can to get as many votes as we can and all the information to the membership so they know who to vote for. So as part of that act, vote, act, invest, you need to register to vote. And if you haven't, you can pull up your messenger, and your messenger is going to ask you if you're registered to vote. So that was kind of interesting. That was yesterday. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So if you're not registered to vote and you don't know how, ask somebody or just show up and they'll take care of you. Everyone's very, very helpful to get you to vote. The investment piece is if you're in the President's Circle, which I would totally recommend you be in the President's Circle, but you have until September 30th to complete your investment. So if you haven't done your full investment, I'm sure you've The Vote Sane has emailed you 35,000 times by now, but please go on there and research in the candidates and how they kind of do it is really what we need to do to mirror our candidates to make sure that if people are going to go vote, they know who they're voting for, how they vote, and who they are. And that President Circle, thanks to Laurie for kind of giving me a push, and and Cynthia Biggs and all the folks that have been and done the full RPAC investment as major investor, and then turning it gold, and then making it a circle, and then going from there. So we have some huge shoes to fill as we continue to grow, which is amazing. I know the boards and the market is second to none. I mean, second best mortgage year in the entire history. So to get some of that and go make that happen, we have to give back, and we have to make sure that we're taking care of our industry and our agents and our clients and protecting our property rights. So that's mine for now. We will have some more discussion if you know anyone, a new FPC to replace Senator Enzi. So that's going to be up and coming. Our FPCs that we currently have are amazing, so I don't want to leave those guys out. Mr. Jim Weaver and Devin Veman. And thanks for all you do. If you have any questions, ready to go.
Thank you very much, Dave. Appreciate the update. And thank you, both you and Laurie, for all that you do for the association and all the time that you guys invest in getting that information out to the membership. It's greatly appreciated. Next up on our agenda is Nicole Novotny-Smith from the Wyoming Real Estate Commission. Nicole has been the executive director of the Wyoming Real Estate Commission for a little over, or going on 8 years now. She's been invaluable to our association and getting that relationship mended that was getting a little strained with the previous administration there. And unfortunately, I think this is going to be the last time that Nicole gets to join us, as she is moving on to bigger and better things for herself personally. But we're definitely going to miss having her, and we'll let Nicole take it from here.
Hello, everyone. Okay, can you hear me okay? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Max, for that great introduction. Yes, this will be my last meeting addressing you as the executive director, and I just have a few updates. I wanted to announce that I received some amazing flowers just a few minutes ago here at the office from the Northwest Wyoming Board of Realtors. So a big thank you to them for their kindness in my final send-off as I close my last week here as executive director. Very quickly, I'm joined by Nick Barker, our licensing specialist, and he has a few updates about renewals.
Hi all. So as Nicole said, I'm Nick Barker. I'm the licensing specialist. I'm not going anywhere. I actually, with Nicole stepping away and taking over as the administrator of the Wyoming Liquor Division, and sorry if I butchered that.
No, you're good.
And then, so Roseanne David will actually be taking over, I'm sure as you all are aware, as interim executive director. And with Roseanne taking that role, I accepted Roseanne David's position as the senior fiscal manager. So I'll still be here. I'm not going anywhere, but I just wanted to update you all on that. And with that, I'm still the licensing specialist until October 1st. So I will report on renewals. So as we know, renewal season is our biggest revenue generator, and the way we have renewals generated right now or configured in our system is to open 90 days prior to December 31st. So with that being said, renewals will open on Friday, October 2nd. We haven't discussed as to when that renewal email will go out, whether we want it to go out on Friday or that Monday, as we know that that is a big call generator and email generator. but that's a discussion that we will have internally. Furthermore, we are working on a continuing education elective list, as we've received a plethora of calls lately in regard to continuing education. We do have our required lists up, and that is updated on our website under continuing education. However, as many have seen, the elective list is not updated and it says coming soon. That is something that we are working with our vendor in updating as quickly as possible, and we are hoping to have that completed this week, hopefully today. And then lastly, I'm sure that you all got the invite, but Executive Director Nicole Novotny-Smith's farewell party will be on September 25th at Cheyenne Frontier Days Event Center from 4 to 7. And I hope that you all are able to attain as I get choked up. I'm sorry.
Aw.
But yeah, and I hope to see you all there. So thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Yes, please join us. I know the Wyoming Realtors know how to throw a good party, so I'm sure it will be a lot of fun with social distancing. Nick reviewed the transitions. Yes, on October 1st, I will take the helm as administrator of the Wyoming Department of Revenue's Liquor Division. And there have been many jokes about me going to liquor after having worked with real estate licensees. That is not the case. It's a really great opportunity. If any of you know Director Dan Noble, he's an outstanding state director, and I'm really excited to work with him and serve the Governor Gordon's administration in this new capacity. Yes, Roseanne David will still be here, and she will be your interim executive director. So if you need anything, you're certainly more than welcome to reach out to Roseanne or to Mr. Barker. We're here to certainly help the association and its members in any way that we can, along with taking care of our licensees. A couple of other updates related to administration here. We will have new examinations, state and national, delivered by Pearson VUE starting on January 1st. We've had a great group of volunteers helping to develop those examinations, and I extend my gracious thank yous to them for their service. We also have new updated rules coming around. Rule drafts were sent to the governor's office and legislature for final review. I'm happy to report that these new rule drafts will make it a little bit easier for our educators to deliver classes in synchronous online formats such as Zoom or webinar. If you would like to take a look at those rule drafts and the rule draft packet, those are posted on our website on the front page. As Ms. Urbigkit mentioned, yes, there is a significant budget shortfall, and we are all feeling the pinch in state government. I was furloughed. My position based on its classification was furloughed, so I'm working 1 day a month without pay. That is in an effort to help increase savings for state agencies. There is further discussion about consolidating happening. Most notably, there was a consolidation of HR personnel across all state government. So all HR personnel was condensed and moved into the Department of Administration and Information by executive order. I learned most recently that Idaho just went through a consolidation under executive order. So you may want to talk to some of the regulatory folks in Idaho and see how that worked or didn't work moving into a consolidated environment. With regard to licensing and this discussion about universal licensure, I just wanted to add some insight based on my, last 7.5 years here. I really think it's important for the association to remember to educate legislators that there is a difference between a profession, which you all hold professional licenses, an occupation, and a trade. It seems to me that in our law books, and I've not done the historical research on this legally speaking, all three of those have been lumped together because they all require some sort of licensure or certification. And you all know that being an electrician or a welder is far different from being a nurse and far different from being a real estate broker or salesperson. And I think in the context of some of these legislative conversations, they all get lumped into one category per them all living somewhat together in Title 33. So just some food for thought there, that there may be some education needed with your legislators about what it really means to hold a professional license. The other question I have is with regard to liability. When you are looking at a licensing law that simply issues someone from any place and any level of experience a Wyoming law to practice here, or a Wyoming license to practice here under Wyoming law, you really are exposing the industry, but also your responsible brokers and your company owners to significant liability in that candidate A that took all of the classes that they needed to and passed all their exams is well versed in Wyoming law and practice versus candidate B who came in from another state and has no orientation. I see some significant liability there, and that's just something I wanted to share with you. If I was staying, those would be my questions to the legislature about how is that supposed to work and how could that liability be disclosed when a business owner or a responsible broker is taking someone into their company that essentially has no orientation, knowledge, or education of Wyoming real estate law. I'll close by saying that back in 2013, when I did my first meeting with the Wyoming Realtors Board of Directors, I was essentially asked to come in, provide my report, and promptly leave. And I was okay with that, but that really set the tone and explained how our relationship was, the relationship between the commission and the Wyoming Realtors. And here we are today, albeit by Zoom, but we're together. And I just couldn't be more proud of the relationship we've cultivated together. I consider all of you my colleagues and my friends, and I look forward to seeing the Wyoming Realtors and the commission move forward in genuine partnership and in the spirit of protecting the public for many years to come. So thank you so much. It's been an honor to serve as your executive director. And I will look forward to crossing paths with all of you in new and different capacities. Thank you. I'll hand it back to you, Madam President.
Thank you so much. I think definitely between the Wyoming Realtors Code of Ethics and also the Wyoming Real Estate Commission state statutes, together and collectively, we have really flourished the relationship. And we just appreciate you so much. I'm so sorry to see you. But good luck to you. And we wish you, all the happiness of being in this position. At this time, we'd like to go ahead and introduce to you our upcoming 2021 Region 11 Vice President, Scott Matthias. He is from Colorado. He's got over 30 years of experience and is very involved in the local, state, and national levels, and we're so happy that he's going to share an update from our region today. And so I'll turn it over to Scott.
Well, good morning, Wyoming Realtors. I'd rather be there in person, but I'm a little bit zoomed out, but hey, that's where we're at, right? Just a special shout out to Laurie Urbigkit. You know, you guys, I think Dave mentioned what an amazing GAD she is across the United States. She's certainly one of the leading GADs in our region, and I just really appreciate all that she's done. You know, between Dave and what Laurie just said, RPAC dollars are more important than ever, just to protect our rights. And I will echo what Dave said. My best investment by far is President's Circle, because we can see direct impacts on that as well. So I don't have a whole lot to say. I mean, again, I'm anxious to meet all of you, to hopefully be in person there with you guys during this upcoming year. I'm very excited about Max and him leading your Wyoming Realtors. One thing I told all of my incoming presidents is that I will take care of them, and I will be there hopefully to be that conduit between NAR and your members. And that taking care of Max comes on Sunday, because one of the things he told me on a Zoom call is that he'd never been to a Bronco game. So I'm taking him to his very first Bronco game against the Patriots. The Tampa on, gosh, Brady not being a Patriot, that's sort of hard. But anyway, looking forward to that, Max. Obviously, one of the things I got to say, and I hope that you guys all agree with me, is that NAR, I've heard this even from brokers in Colorado, really stepped up their game during this pandemic, not only with the right tools right now, but just the communication efforts. We've always talked about wanting to be the voice of real estate, and I truly believe that NAR has sort of stepped it up and now is recognized as a voice of real estate. So I look forward to getting that stuff to you. I will tell you, they're going to have to put shackles on my hands and my feet to stop you guys from coming to the Region 11 conference. It is, and you'll see a video from me here in about a week with the coming soon date on that. That's March 22nd through the 24th. And we have a brand new Gaylord Hotel here in Denver. It's minutes from DIA, and it's an amazing facility. I will tell you all right now that we have some really great speakers lined up already, including Lee Brown, Lawrence Yoon, a guy by the name of Daryl Scott, he's a good friend of mine, and he lost his daughter Rachel Scott in the Columbine shooting here years ago. So it's going to be a great conference. Please, when you see that coming soon, actually November 1st is when you'll actually be able to go online and register for the conference. I think it's going to be well attended, because I think that not only myself, but I believe you and all the realtors out there want to get into a live in-person conference to see each other and get together. And from that standpoint, we have 120 rooms, so I think that they'll go pretty quick there at the Gaylord. An exciting event for me is that I'm a member of the South Metro Denver Realtor Association in the south part of Denver, and we have a very cool state-of-the-art new facility that we put together, that we opened this last year. And so we're gonna have a fun night. And so the theme about the whole thing is really you get by giving, and that's something that I've always wanted to do. And I always said that if I wanted to take this position and follow the steps of Laurie and a lot of great RVPs in front of me, that I want to make a difference. And so my number is 303-775-0033. I'll look forward to it. And one of the things I should have started off in the very beginning was I really want to thank our virtual RVP, Dave Tina. Dave's done a great job this year. Obviously, he hasn't been able to go anywhere because NAR is not letting any of the leadership travel, but he's been behind the scenes, and I want to make a big shout out to Dave Tina. He is going to be part, whether he likes it or not, he's going to be a big part of the Region 11 conference in March. So unless there's any other questions, I'm excited to work with all you guys, and hopefully, like I said, come up there and see you all in person. And Max, I look forward to Sunday, buddy. Go Broncos.
Looking forward to Sunday for sure. Thank you very much, Scott. Looking forward to getting an in-person meeting down there too at the Gaylord. That'll be fantastic. First in-person meeting in over a year. That'll be nice to be something semi-close to Wyoming and get to see people live and in person. Next up on our agenda is our own campaign for the board of directors. We've got the link to vote went out about 7 o'clock this morning, so everybody should be able to get on there and vote as soon as this call's over. But to start off with, we are going to introduce our vice president candidate, Mr. Scott Richard.
All right. Thanks, Max. I'll introduce myself so you guys can learn a little bit about me. My name is Scott Richard. I'm a Wyoming native and a third-generation realtor. I'm also the broker owner of Richard Realty in Cody, Wyoming. And most recently, I got involved with our local boards about 6 years ago and decided that I wanted to give back my time. I believe that giving back actually gives you a lot more. And in doing so, it's allowed me to fulfill dreams that I didn't think possible. So it's a true honor to be standing up here and to be considered for this VP position. Also, I would like to say that in this position, I feel it's important to reach out to others and let them know that you're available. So I value your input. Feel free to reach out to me with your comments, your questions, or even just to share ideas. Moving forward from this, I guess, I think together we can make a difference, and I look forward to serving our membership in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. As you may know, we are just having 2 positions that are going to be voted on, and they're unopposed this year, but we still wanted to give the candidates the opportunity to introduce themselves so you know who the upcoming leadership is for the Wyoming Realtors. And so next we'd like to invite up here for a district vice president position, Miss Angela Wilson. She's a realtor from Green River, Wyoming, and a past president, and currently the chairperson for the Sweetwater County Planning and Zoning Commission. So, Angela.
Good morning, everybody. That's a little hard to follow. I wasn't sure what I was going to say this morning. So I live in Green River and I work for HomeSmart CH4 Realty Group. It's a little bit long, in Rock Springs and Green River and Sweetwater County. I was the past, I filled the position for the Southwest position last year and then wanted to reapply this year. I feel like I do have a lot to give back and I want to learn more state level wise. I have been a past president. I've been our treasurer for our local board. So I am ready to kind of move on and do something statewide and give back my time that way. So I do appreciate your time. And again, like Scott, if anybody has any questions or feedback, please, I would love to hear from you. So thank you.
Thank you, Scott and Angela, both for stepping up and volunteering your time. It's greatly appreciated. In the future, we need more people to be involved. Getting involved on the state level is a fantastic way to give back to the realtor community. And please don't forget to get online and vote. Even though these guys are running unopposed, we do have to have the votes there in order to ratify the position. So please find that link from your email this morning. Like I said, it came out about 7 o'clock, and get on there and vote. Next up, we have the update on the state forms rewrite. Devin Veman, if she is on.
It says she should be in person.
Okay. Well, if
Look at the attendee.
looking for Devin now to see if we can get her on here.
Don't see anybody by that name.
Okay, then I will go ahead and give that update myself. The forms rewrite is complete. As I'm sure everybody's aware, we've been working on a forms rewrite for about the last 2 years. Thank you very much to the forms committee. We've spent countless hours of volunteer time to rewrite the forms and make sure everything's in there and correct this time. Those will be coming out in November. We're going to have training videos that'll be released early November, and the forms will go live late November. Once the forms go live, the old forms will no longer be available. It's a flat transition. So make sure you take the time to learn the new forms before the old ones go away. Speaking of things going away with forms, we currently have a relationship with 3 different forms providers. We have Form Simplicity, ZipLogix, and .loop. At the transition of these new forms coming in, .loop will no longer be supported software provider. So if you are using .loop now, start looking at the other software providers. .loop did not want to play ball and work with the way our new forms were going to be formatted. So they're just no longer going to be an option. Moving forward from that, we'll move to our NAR director update for Mr. Dennis Baker.
Well, good morning, everyone, and looks like you can all see my face instead of just the top of my head, so I'm good to go for this so far. So anyway, welcome from NAR. It has been a different year for sure, but just because we have kind of been quarantined and not allowed to travel doesn't mean that there hasn't been important things going on at NAR in protecting you as our members. What we find is that NAR was very active in the PPP program and making sure that we were part of that program as independent contractors. So if you received that money, congratulations. And we are still working on that program to ensure that maybe if you received under a certain dollar amount, that portion of that won't have to be repaid back. So that's part of the program that's out there. In addition to that, we've been working on housing, taking care of tenants and also landlords. NAR just recently had a meeting with the White House group to talk about the moratorium on evictions and those type of things, but also in providing assistance to landlords. So landlords aren't just being left out in the cold on this deal. We're avidly working for their rights. So if you're doing property management, be aware that we are trying to protect private property rights as well during that time period. We had the largest Zoom meeting ever at our board of directors meeting in May. So that was showing that technology and that realtors are willing to use technology to conduct our business because it is important. We continue to watch legislative issues, and of course, diversity is the #1 priority right now in NAR, making sure that we're providing fair housing for everyone. So we look forward to the virtual annual conference in November. You can begin to sign up online for it. I believe it started on the 23rd of this month today. So feel free to sign up for that. There'll be a lot of great speakers there that you can listen to, and you can do it from the comfort of your home or the comfort of your office. So with that, thank you very much, and thanks for being a member.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. We appreciate the update. I just wanted to let you know really quickly that you can find all of the reports from our board of directors online on the Wyoming Realtor website under Hot Topics. And at the end of today, we'll also be publishing a members magazine that you'll be able to take a look at as well. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Max Minnick, our incoming president.
Serving on the board has been an honor with this administration. Lisa's been a great leader. The past several years I've been on the board has been fantastic, and giving back to the realtor community is always very rewarding in and of itself. As realtors, we often find ourselves doing so much more than buying and selling, leasing homes. We're on the ground with our clients. Their struggles become our struggles. Whether that's getting qualified for their first time home loan, whether it's trying to cut through the red tape of government to get that new subdivision approved, helping them get the word out on their new restaurant that they just opened up. We're there for them. We're at the city council meetings. We're at the legislative sessions. We sponsor their kids' sports teams. Bottom line is we're there for our clients and for our communities because we care. We have the resolve, the determination for our clients to succeed in their ventures, for our communities to thrive, and what it takes to make it in this business is true grit. And that's my theme for this coming year is true grit, and that's why. I look forward to serving as the president of the Wyoming Realtors for 2021, and I'm very honored to be in this position. Next up on our agenda is our Realtor of the Year and Business Person of the Year. And to announce that, we've got a short video for you guys to watch.
So it's my great pleasure to be able to present this award to Lisa. There is nobody more deserving than her for what she did. Her compassion for people and her willingness to serve our membership is just way above everything I've ever seen. It's an honor to have served with her, most certainly.
Thank you. That's very cool. Thank you so much. Well, thank you. I really, I don't know what to say. I really appreciate this. It has been an interesting year. So, wow. Okay. All right. It's been a privilege and an honor, and I'll be forever changed by this experience. So thank you very much. I really appreciate all of you and what you do to prop me up and help me learn and grow. So thank you. Moving on to happy times. I would like to bring up here the exciting Mr. Buck Wilson, our RPAC chair for the Wyoming Realtors.
Now that was cool to see in person, just saying. So, hi, I'm Buck Wilson. I'm out of Cheyenne. I'm your RPAC chair for the state of Wyoming and local president liaison. And today, you've heard from a few of our speakers, Scott, our Region 11, Dave Coleman, Laurie Urbigkit, all about investing into RPAC. And, you know, RPAC is an extremely important tool to continue to build our industry and to be able to make things what I call fair for us to continue to practice and help our clients. So if you haven't dipped into your pockets, you have until the end of the year. You have until the end of September for President's Club. But today, we actually have a drawing for all those who participated. And we have 3 of those drawings. We're going to be drawing for a grand prize of a Maui trip. And then we have the Wyoming Realtors who've donated $500 to a cash prize. And then we also have the YPAC trustees who've donated. So I'm going to go ahead and spin. Lisa, would you like to come on up and do a little? This prize is for the $500. We got a couple of people thinking it's going to be them. Have we shook it enough?
I think so.
Maybe one more time. There we go. Go ahead. Just pull one.
I don't know how to do it.
Oh.
Oh.
This event raised over $13,500. All right. Who's the lucky winner of the $500 drawing? And Zimmerscheid. Zimmerscheid.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
to Ann.
Ann. We will get that $500 prize to you. Let's go for the next $500 prize from the Wyoming Realtors. Annie!
And she's here in person.
And she's here. Congratulations, Annie.
All right, Annie.
All right, we're going to close this gate. We're going to give it another good shake. I think last year, Miss.
Like your official. I want the official.
Come on up.
Come on up. There we go. This is Annie Wedgwood.
Congratulations. Now, can she win the grand prize? Fingers crossed. Come on. Who won last year? Was it Devin?
Yeah.
Devin won?
Yeah.
I know she went on that trip, kind of similar trip to Maui, and it was amazing.
Cool.
Dawn Nelson?
Dory
Nelson. Dory Nelson. Dory Nelson is our grand prize winner to Maui. Congratulations, Dory. That's also $1,000 of spending cash. So we're going to get that prize off to you. I appreciate everybody who participated. Thank you for your donations, and please continue to support RPAC.
Yes, thank you. Awesome. Those are some great prizes today.
Before before you make your remarks, your outgoing remarks, you're taking over here.
All right.
And that, you know, as immediate past president, one of the things they always talk to you about is making sure you surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, so you look good. And I certainly had that opportunity with the upcoming board that's coming on, and the people who served before me, Devin and Shelley. It was easy to serve because with their leadership and their guidance for that. So number one, I want to present the President's Plaque to Lisa for her service.
Yay.
There is no one who had a more difficult presidency, I think, than Lisa through COVID. She learned how to do so much through Zoom, and yet you could feel her, again, compassion for our membership as they went through, and doing this all as a single mom and that. So it was a great honor. And so before we get your concluding remarks on that, so congratulations on being 2020, and now moving into immediate past president's role. Max, come on up. Steve, come on up. And do we have the gavel?
Oh, the little, well, you got the plaque.
Okay.
Isn't that detachable?
We don't actually have a gavel here, I guess, this morning. So as a tradition that we always do is we pass the gavel up the line from past president and that. So Steve.
Pass it. There we go.
Will pass to me.
This is highly rehearsed and going
going well.
Quite well, yeah.
And then I'll pass to Lisa, and now the gavel gets passed to Max. So congratulations, Max.
Very much.
That is awesome.
And that concludes it.
Well, thank you for that impromptu. We're probably not going to get picked for the sketch on Saturday Night Live. Oh, shoot. Well, I would just like to say we did start this year with a really long list of things that we wanted to tackle and finish up and wrap up or set aside because we no longer thought it was a priority. I am proud to say that despite the challenging year, we really did accomplish a lot together. I love the fact that we could collaborate and execute together as a team, even though we were doing so from afar. And I'm just really proud of the board this year. And it's just been an honor and a privilege. And I just want to encourage you to take the time to read the reports that the board of directors has posted online for you and the membership magazine that will be coming out, just so you can see all the recaps and updates. I don't want to go on and on, so I will just say thank you. Again, I look forward to Max Minnick and all the things I can do to help support him in his presidency this year. And I also want to thank our staff, Brooke, Kylie, and Steve, our amazing CEO. We just wouldn't be able to do any of this without all of your awesome efforts. So thank you so much. At this time, we don't have any new business to address. So that's going to conclude our virtual general session. Thanks to those of you that attended and participated with us today. Have a